Hey folks, DC here from DC's Gadgets. Today is Sunday, December the 1st, 2019. It's sunny and I think it's like 81 degrees. We're awful close to it. Actually got a little sweat going in this long sleeve shirt. It's 4:20 in the afternoon. We just finished work on our club yard. Our club, the south of our beekeepers. We've got about 20 or so beehives in the apiary. It fluctuates. And every Sunday afternoon we open it up. Club members come out, and people that want to be club members come out, and people just curious about bees come out, and we go through the beehives. So we went through all the boxes today, and everything's looking really good. We still have some kind of nectar coming in. I'm not sure what it is. We had a really good Brazilian pepper flow in October, but every box has got nectar. Every box is bringing in pollen. I actually put a super on December 1st. December 1st, I put a super on a beehive because there's so much crap coming in. So it's good. Heading home, I'm going to do some queens. Yes, I'm doing queens December 1st. I've got drones. I think I saw drones in every box today that I was in. So, still looking good. So I'm going to go home and do some what I would call simple queenering. And what I plan to do is, I've got a cell bar in my cell builder right now with some cups. I stuck it in there. I went home from church, pulled out the cells they made last week. They made 3 cells. I put a bar in there with some cups on it so they can play with it for a couple hours. I'm going to go home. I'm going to put some grass in. I'm also going to cut a piece of comb. So I got this thing about small scale and simple queenery. And I don't know where the definition comes in at. What do you consider small scale or simple? I know there's some queen breeders like Michael Palmer is one I think of. He makes thousands. I don't know how many he makes. He makes thousands of queens every year. And I met a lady up in northern Florida, Santa Fe Queens. I met her 2 years ago. Actually, I met her husband. And they ran 8,000 queens the year I met them. And then there's a guy down in Central Florida in Frostproof. He runs like 10,000 queens a year. So I suppose if that's normal scale, then anything below 10,000 small scale, right? But let's be realistic, okay? Watch Ian Stepler. Ian's got some really good videos, a really neat method of making queens. But still, he runs 1,000 queens. I'm not sure how many queens he runs. He probably runs close to 1,000 queens through his process, maybe a little less than that. I have to go watch his videos again. But anytime I watch someone making queens, and the reason I'm bringing this up today is someone in the Queen Breeders group posted this link to a video, and it's called Simple Queen Rearing. And the video starts out, and there's pictures of beehives as far as you can see, and they're deep boxes, and they're stacked like 3 and 4 high. And they start making these cell builders, and they're shaking bees in these cell builders. And yeah, you gotta have a lot of bees. So they shook more bees in the cell builders than I have in my backyard, okay? There's like 6 beehives worth of bees in this cell builder. You're gonna make a lot of queens doing that. And then they show a video where they're putting together mating nukes. And they've got this box full of bees. And they've got these pallets of mating nukes. And they're running around, and they go in with a styrofoam coffee cup, and they scoop out a cup full of bees and drop in a mating nuke. So yeah, that's how you do the whole process. That's not simple queenering, okay? And that's not small-scale queenering. When I think small-scale queenering, I'm thinking the backyard beekeeper who has 3 beehives and wants 6. He wants to raise 3 or 4 queens so he can make splits. That's my opinion of small-scale queenering. That's what I do. I started raising queens last year. I managed to get about a little over 100. I got about 65 or 75 mated last year. I think it was a pretty good year. This year, I put close to 400 to the incubator. I think I actually went through my records, which my records really suck, but I'm looking at like somewhere between 380 and 395 queens hatched out, for a better term. Came out alive from the incubator, and then I put them out to mate. My mating though sucked. I got 190 mated and like 390, so better than 50%, but it really kind of sucked. But it's a learning year. I learned a whole lot this year that I'm going to change. My objective, though, is not to make lots of queens. In fact, there were some times when I had too many come out. I'm working a full-time job. If I get 12 or 14 queens come out in the incubator, it's really hard for me to get 14 queens out in mating boxes. So I'm going to focus on 6. That's my objective. I kind of slowed down even this year. I'm only grafting like 8 or 9 at a time, hoping for 5 or 6 to come out. Like last week I grafted 9, I got 4. And that's okay, 4 is fine. Because if I get more than like 8 at a time, I got no place to put them. And that's one of the things I think that lacks in almost every video I've watched on raising queens. They don't talk about the mating box. You got to have a box to put that queen in to go out and mate. And otherwise, you're lost. So, I'm doing a thing for our bee school. Our club's having our first annual bee school, February 29th. And I'm going to talk about making backyard queens. And it's simple. I want to make 3 queens. I'm going to show you how to make 3 queens. It's not that easy. And as far as simple queen rearing, I don't know if this is true. I've been told this. I haven't had a chance to really research it. I was told that Langstroth did this. He would take 3 beehives and 1 queen. He'd stick a queen in a box for a week, let her lay eggs. Take her out of that box, stick her in the second box. So as soon as she moves from the first box to the second box, the emergency response kicks in, the first box starts making queens. So she sits in the second box for a week, and that time the queens in the first box are capped. He takes out the second box, puts in the third box. Now the bees in the second box are making queens. So she sits in the third box for a week. Sometime before that week is up, you gotta go back in the first box and cut your cells out so they don't hatch out and kill each other. But that's simple. You wanna make simple queens? Actually, the simplest way to make a queen is this. You find a colony with lots and lots of bees in it. You find a frame of natural comb, because you can't do this on foundation. You find a frame of natural comb with eggs and larvae. You make sure you don't get the queen. You take that frame covered with bees, so you got nurse bees. You take 2 frames with honey, or a frame of honey and a frame of pollen. You stick those 3 frames in a nuke box and move them to a different yard, or move them someplace where they won't go back to the hive they came from. And you're gonna make queens. That is the absolute simplest way to make some queens. As long as they're healthy bees, as long as something's not really goofy with the bees and you don't take the queen, they're gonna make queens. So that's the simplest. And I'd say the next one would be what Langstroth was doing, moving a queen around. And the next thing is what I'm fixing to do when I get home. I'm gonna take a frame of natural comb, and I'm gonna find a section, maybe 3 or 4 inches long, with eggs and larvae that's just hatched. I'll take my fishing knife, I'll cut that strip out. We just squish it to the top of a frame. I'll squish it in maybe 2 or 3 sections, and I'm hoping to get 3 queens. So if you're trying to get 3 queens and you want simple, this is probably one of the simplest ways you can do it. And this is what I'm going to focus on. We do bee school. But you still got to find a way to get them mated. So I'm going to shut this thing off. I'm actually getting to the house. I'm going to shut this thing off. I'll set the camera up. We'll go back in the backyard. And I'll show you my cell builder. You're going to laugh at my cell builder. I'll show you my cell builder. It does work, and I'm getting queens out of it. Like I say, I've gotten close to 400 queens this season. Went through the incubator from that cell builder, or one just like it. So I'm going to shut this off, and I'll catch you back at the beehives. All right, so this is my queen yard, for lack of a better term. The little box on the left there is a 5-frame medium nuke. That is my cell builder. And the 2 boxes next to it, those are my breeder colonies. And I graft off of each one every other week. I'm not trying to make lots of queens. My objective is to make like a dozen queens a week. Eventually I want to get to the point where I'm raising like maybe 10 to 20 queens a week. I'm really seriously thinking about doing instrumental insemination because my mating successes were so piss poor. Even with the II, I still don't want to make more than like 20 or 25. My intent in this is not to actually make a living making queens. My intent is to supplement my retirement making queens, because I'm retired from machine work in 4 years. I want to sell queens. I want to have fun. I don't want to be under stress. I don't want to have to make thousands of queens for somebody. I've learned in the past 2 years that if I've got 5 or 6 queens a week, I can sell 5 or 6 queens a week without a problem. And I can make queens here in Florida for at least 30 weeks a year. So, at $25 a queen for 5 queens a week. That's $125 a week, pocket money. I might get more than that. I could probably, I'd like to make more than that. I'd like to make, 15 to 20 queens a week, and eventually I'll get to that. But I'm still working a full-time job. Those are, long-term goals. Anyway, what I did today, I already took the feeder jar off that, so bees are at the top. Earlier today, I went in, I took the graphs from last week out of the cell builder. I put some cups in there from the work on, and when I graphed from each frame, I moved the frame I grafted off of goes above an excluder. And then 2 weeks later, that frame goes into my cell builder. So I'm putting brood in there, but I'm not putting anything in there they can make a queen out of, because every time I do that, they make their own queens. So I put another frame in there already, and I shook some bees in. I go in there early, and I find the frame I want to graft off of. I stick it above the excluder, and then I'll go in there when I move my cells, and I'll shake all the bees off of that frame into the box. They're primarily nurse bees. And I'll do it again. I'll go in there now. I'm going to grab the frame I'm going to graft off of. I'll shake those bees into my cell builder, so they're mainly nurse bees. And I'll go do grafts, and we'll come back, and I'm going to do a cut comb, and I'll show you what we're doing there. So I'm going to put this on pause. I shouldn't have paused it. Let me shake them off. I'll put it on pause and I go to graft. So I'm going to pop this top off of here. I'm going to take out the bar with the cups. Been in here since about 12:30. It's now 4:30, so they've been in here about 4 hours. All right, and then I'm going to take the top off of this one. A little smoke. This has been a really bad year for hive beetles. So I'm using some Swiffer sheets and some paper or some handy towels to try to catch beetles. It's just been a pain in the butt. I'm pretty sure that's the frame I want. I should have marked, is it this one or the one next to it? We'll know real quick. That's the one next to it. It's this frame I want. Alright, there's my brood frame. So I'm going to take these bees, because they're going to be primary nurse bees, and shake them into this box. Alright, I'm going to graft off of that frame. Close this up for a minute. Got her a little testy there. I'll put this lid on here for a minute. I'm going to go graft, and then we'll come back and cut comb. All right, so I'm back. Let me put this frame back in the you'll see where I cut the corner off here. Put this frame back in the breeder colony. I'll show you what I did on this other bar here. Stick her right in there. Ow. Not happy. Not happy at all. Should have smoked them. Oh well. All right. So, I don't know if the camera's going to pick all this up or not, but inside these cells, I've got eggs and larvae. Not sure how much you can see in these things or not. I really can't tell from here. I'll look at the video. Go real slow. So I've got this section of comb I cut out. In each section of this comb, I've got a couple eggs and a couple larvae, and then in these cups, I've got larvae in the cups. So I did 6 grafts in cups, and I did 3 on these things. So I'm going to stick it in the box. Today's Sunday. I can't check it tomorrow because I'm busy. So I'll come in Tuesday. We'll take a quick look. And I'm expecting to be making some queens and everything here. These bees are not happy. And what I've got in this box, the outside frames are drawn comb and a little bit of nectar. The second frame from the right is mainly pollen and a little bit of capped honey at the top. The second frame from the left is the brood frame that I took out from the other box from grass from 2 weeks ago. It's almost all capped brood. And then I've got my my grafts in the middle. So on one side of the grafts, there's emerging brood, and on the other side of the grafts, there's food. So everything that they need is in there, and I'm feeding them. Always feed my cell builder when I put it together. Just put a jar of sugar water on top. So today's Sunday. We'll take a quick look in here on Tuesday.